Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar. I'm here today with Joshua Smith, and we're going to kind of go over a little bit of his journey and talk about how he helps families, business owners really take control of their financial future, right? And some real good things to be able to do that. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, real estate entrepreneurs, service providers, 2 to 5x their business. And we do it by providing tools and resources, not only to help them grow the business that they want to have, but in turn, live the life that they've always wanted to live. So Josh, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you, John. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. There's a lot of I don't want to say miseducation, but non-education out there that I think will definitely help folks, especially with some of the stuff we talked about offline. But before we get into all that, introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them about your background, kind of what got you into, being a wealth strategist and what got you here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long story, so I'll kind of give you the short version, but I'm the tale of two influencers. Back in '08, right, we had flipped our townhome. We lived in it for 2 years, brand new home. We made like 35 grand, thought we were, financially geniuses at that point. Took that money and put it into, we lived in Utah at the time, so we put that money into a fix and flip, right? That was going to be a 2-year live in it, fix it up, flip it when we're done. Well, meanwhile, instead of paying off all my student loans, which were also 35 grand, we decided to go into a neighborhood that we had no business buying. And we took one of those nice predatory loans, the 100% financing, interest only.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we signed that dotted line, which I knew better, but we did it. And we bought a home that we wanted to flip within like 30 to 45 days. And we did. We got it out on the market. It was good, but that was when the '08 meltdown hit, right? And we had no clue. We were young at the time. We didn't know the signs of the times. Our realtor didn't have a vision on it. So we were trying to catch that falling knife, and we lost our butts on that whole, on both homes that we bought. We were upside down in both. So that wasn't good. So my first influencer that I found was Dave Ramsey, right? Because I figured, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. What should I do? I should probably learn something about money, right? Found financial peace. Yeah, oh yeah, envelope system, whole 9 yards. We actually taught FPU at multiple churches. So I was on Dave's Friday show, like the financial free show. So we did the whole 9 yards with Dave, right? So we were gun-ho with that, which I'm indebted to his advice for budgeting, because honestly, at that time I needed that. The investment advice, not so much. I wouldn't recommend that anymore. So we don't see eye to eye on that anymore. But anyway, so long story short, fast forward, I came across the other influencer, which was Robert Kiyosaki, and you and I were talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the book for me that was like, oh wait, our whole money system's like a debt note. Like there's good debt and bad debt, and there's assets and liabilities, and there's cash flow, and that opened my mind to go, there's more to money than than just, dead as dumb and like, invest and
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
there's a lot of strategies behind the scenes that I had no idea about. And that's when I really started thinking, I would say, outside the box. And then I came across what a lot of people call infinite banking. I'm almost not loving that term anymore because there's a lot of infinite bankers out there that are teaching this, like private family finance, and it gets skewed, lost in the weeds, right? So we teach, I'm with Factum, we're out of Mesa, Arizona, and we teach a savings and liquidity strategy that has multiple benefits for families and business owners. So they can capitalize their own system, they control their own system, and then they can borrow from that system whenever they need it, right? To fund investments or, launch into a business opportunity, or God forbid an emergency happens, they have something to fall back on. Yeah. So
awesome. Okay.
That's how I got into this. And in that realm, I was with GE Healthcare for about 20 years in management, various technical roles. But I knew once I left that, I had to do something that I was going to be passionate about and that I could help people better their financial future. So that's how I got into this.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. If you've watched any of my other podcasts, there's a question I always ask because I always want to know. You mentioned the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, right? And did you read that prior to your flipping escapade? And then
No.
secondly, before, okay, so if you didn't, did you have any real estate influence, flipping influence, construction influence, anything in your family that said, hey, I can do this flipping stuff?
Not at all. Like we were financially not educated. So I'd say we were financially illiterate at the time. I mean, we were in our young 20s, so we were just young, dumb, and we had plan A, and it was to make a bunch of money, and there was no plan B of like, well, what happens if it doesn't work out, right? So there was no contingency. I actually formed an LLC with two of my buddies at the time. And one of my friends had some experience with like long-term rentals and fixing up, not really fix and flips, but at least fixing up enough, cosmetically to make it work. So we thought, hey, with our experience combined, we can make this work. But to your question, no, we had no financial literacy, none.
Okay, well, yeah, especially on the real estate side, some people might have had like an uncle or someone who flipped a house and like, oh, that sounds cool. But what as you transitioned and got into like some to entrepreneurship, what type of struggles or things did you come across when you kind of first got started?
Yeah, I think for me, the journey was like reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, opening my mindset up. I started looking at other books and other creative things like creative finance, subject to buying homes, like subject to that sort of thing. So I would say I was dabbling a lot and just getting a lot of head knowledge and learning, but I wasn't really implementing or doing much. When 08 happened, like the interest rates started creeping up, right? I remember getting I had a high interest account at like 5% in my savings. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. And then it went away for 20 years, right? So coming back when we moved from Washington down to Arizona, we had I think it was a 2.5% interest rate. And I had all of our equity, because I was still on the Dave Ramsey pay off my house train, right? So 10-year fixed. Put all my equity into the house that I live in. Well, when the Fed started raising rates, I was like, man, this looks, feels, and smells a lot like '08. Like, I'm going to refi and do a cash out refi on my house and take that equity, because what good is equity if I see it vanish tomorrow morning and I'm sitting on a mountain of equity that no longer exists? So we did a cash out refi. We thought we would buy a multifamily, like a quadplex or a threeplex here in Phoenix. But the prices went nuts, right? So we were kind of like, okay, let's hold back and see what happens. And that's when I learned about this banking concept a few years ago. And I started delving into a lot of research, reading books on it, talking to people that had done it before I made any decision to do it myself. And that's where we actually funded our first policy through the equity that we had taken out of our house. And then I was like, well,
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
if we capitalize the policy, then I can go ahead and deploy that into a multifamily when we're ready. So that's how I got into that.
Tell folks, kind of explain a little bit about what this infinite banking is for people maybe that are on here that haven't heard of it, don't know what it's about.
Yeah, for sure. So infinite banking's been around a long time. So we deal with mutually owned insurance companies only, and it's dividend paying whole life policies that we deal with. And these are very, very old school, slow growth, boring, asset, right? This is an asset class that's been around since the founding of our country, really. Like we underwrite a lot with One America. They were founded in like 1877. So 150-year-old company. They've paid dividends every year, through the Great Depression, through COVID, through the '08 financial meltdown. They pay dividends every year to their shareholders. Now, they're not guaranteed, but their track record is pretty sweet. So what people don't know about whole life, because we do have financial gurus out there saying how, it's a bad investment. It's not a good place to, put your money. It's expensive. Like you hear this all the time. And I would agree with them that it's not a good investment, but it is a phenomenal savings strategy. Like it's the best savings platform on the planet, right? So you have the death benefit. Everybody knows about the death benefit. The way infinite banking would work is we would actually structure a policy that's customized to our client, right? Based on their savings budget that they're currently comfortable with. So there is no change in their lifestyle. They're just redirecting, money from one place to another, right? So instead of their traditional savings account, they're going to put it in a dividend paying whole life, and they're going to let that build over time. And it's got a pretty phenomenal growth rate. Like these things on average are like about 4 to 4.5%. And that's net. So you're not paying taxes on this, and it's uninterrupted compounding. So the longer you have these things, the more efficient and better they perform. So pretty cool. And then the company, since it's mutually owned, that's your money. You have access to it, but you can use the insurance as money as a line of credit, right? So they'll give you a guaranteed line of credit on your cash value. So if you have an investment that you want to go fund, you can go grow your money in two places now at the same time.
And what benefits does that have? What things does it help? Like what are the pros of doing that?
Well, so I deal with a lot of real estate investors, right? And hard money lenders, private money lenders. So one, they have a guaranteed line of credit. So a lot of these guys are using like, say, a HELOC. Well, a lot of people don't know that HELOCs can be yanked, especially if we get into, tight credit. Those banks will pull your HELOC, right? That happens all the time. So these are guaranteed lines of credit because if you think about it, the cash value inside your policy is actually over collateralized by the death benefit, right? So say, for example, I have $1 million death benefit and I have a $100,000 loan. Like my beneficiaries, if I died, are going to get $900,000. So they give you a loan provision that's interest only and unstructured, meaning there's no payback term. So if you walked into Wells Fargo or Chase and said, "Hey, I want an interest only loan that I'm going to pay back someday, I don't know when." What's your and I want like a 5 to 6% interest rate fixed. Like, what can you give me? They'd be like, take a hike, right? That doesn't exist. So that's the big thing with like real estate investors, hard money lenders. Is that loan provision is they have guaranteed line of credit that never dries up, never goes anywhere. Plus it's completely private, so nobody knows about it, right? So if I take a loan out and you're, say, with the SBA and I'm trying to buy like a small business and they ask you like, "Hey, do you have whole life?" "Yes, I do." "Okay, cool. How much of an asset do you have in cash value?" You can tell them, but then it's like, well, how much of a loan do you have? Nobody knows, right? Like unless you disclose it, like if you say, "Oh, I got, 50,000," but completely closed loop private system. And that's really intriguing to a lot of people because it's a private contract between you and the mutually owned company, which you're partial owner
Hmm.
in. So there's
Yeah.
nobody else involved, right? And I've personally taken loans out on my policies, and the first time I did it, I was shocked because it was a one-page form that basically said, "What's your name? What's your policy number? How much money do you want? Sign here."
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Oh, and where do we send it? Right? Like, where do you want it? And there was no question
Right.
of what's your credit worthiness? What are you using it for? Are we sure this is a good loan? None of that. It's your money, right?
Are these policies hard for people to get?
It depends. Like, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's too late for me to start. We hear that a lot, especially with people in their 50s, 60s. We have policy owners that start policies in their 80s. Now, to your
Hmm.
question, it does depend on health, right? Your health, age, all that stuff is going to be taken into consideration. But we
Right.
have all the time where somebody's like, hey, I'm not insurable. What do I do? Well, all you have to do is be a policy owner. You can put a policy on anybody as long as you have an insurable interest. So if you have a business partner, we do this all the time with like businesses that have two or three partners and they want to cross insure each other in case something happens, then
Hmm.
they can buy out their shares. We do that all the time. Corporate America has been doing this
Okay.
for years, right? So you don't have to have a policy necessarily on yourself. In fact, we teach people to scale the system. The founder of our company, his family has like over 50 policies just in their family alone. So yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, just put them on just friends, or I mean, how do you find the people
Yeah.
you put them on? You put them on the dog?
Well, there's two. So, like, I'll give you an instance. Like, my father wants to do a policy, and he's not insurable because of past health issues, right? So his
Hmm.
question to me was, well, who would I put one on? And I'm like, well, I'm your kid, your grandkids, anybody in your life that you have permission, they'll sign off and say, yeah, you can put a policy on me. And two, you have to have an insurable interest, which basically, if you're like the way we teach our clients to do this in a family would be like, hey, we're teaching you how to build legacy wealth, and this is cross
Yeah.
generational. So when you tell the insurance company like, hey, we're teaching our family how to build wealth, and we're using these whole life policies to do that, that's sufficient, right? They're like, okay, cool. And so that's the insurable interest. So that's the second piece besides
Got it.
permission. Yeah. So pretty easy to
Is
get
there like
policies
an
on
age
anybody.
limit? Is there an age limit, or can I put one on my 8-year-old daughter?
You can, so actually, our founder just had a daughter last week, and he's got a policy on her like today. So
Oh wow,
the
incredible!
earlier you
That's so
start,
cool.
yeah, because the time is on your side with the compounding, right? And the younger you
Yeah.
start with your kids or grandkids or whoever, the younger you start, the cost of the death benefit is cheaper, right? So they're
Hmm.
statistically like a child is statistically not, likely to die anytime soon. So their
Right.
premium dollars will actually buy a bigger death benefit. And the policies that we deal with every year, that death benefit goes up as well. So your cash value is
Mm.
building, but the death benefit's also building, but your premiums stay the same. So it's also a hedge against inflation because your premiums are
Yeah.
guaranteed to never go up. So like for
Right.
me, I have term, I've had term for almost 20 years. It's going to expire in 4 years on me and my wife. And I don't even want to see what that premium is going to be once I turn, because I'll be like 40, I think I'll be 48 when those terms expire. And it's like, what's the renewal
Okay.
on that? Because it's not going to be as cheap as it was when I was in my 20s, right? So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially.
yeah. So,
So is generally this type of more like whole life more expensive than term?
So it depends because term is very cheap when you're young because statistically only 2% of those policies will ever pay out, right? Because when I'm in my 20s or 30s and I get a 20 or 30 year term, I'm not likely to use that because I'm not likely to die statistically, right? So the insurance
Yeah.
companies can give that to us very cheap. But like I said, when you go to renew that, say you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, it becomes very, very, very expensive. It's actually, term becomes the most expensive insurance on the planet as you age, right? Because the
Yeah.
risk goes up. Like when I'm in my 60s, I'm going to need insurance on my life, and life insurance through term is not going to be affordable. That's not going to be something that is going to be attainable. So the problem that people find themselves in is they wait and then they find out, oh shoot, I'm not insurable. Now I can't even get health insurance because I've had some prior massive issue like cancer or heart disease, or something that the insurance company
Right.
might not insure against. Now you're at major risk, right? So we try to coach people
Hmm.
through, try to get the coverage. Another thing that we find is people have coverage through their work, like if they're in a W-2, and they don't realize that if they get laid off or they quit that job, their insurance is now gone, right? Now they can convert
Yeah.
it, but they're probably not going to get a very competitive, premium or coverage,
Mhm.
and they might not be insurable, right? Like if they don't convert it and they decide, I'm going to go shop the marketplace, they might find, oh shoot, I lost my insurability. Now what do I do, right? So there's a lot of risk with
Mm.
with not having the right coverage in place for individuals and families.
Got it. Okay. And when we started off the show, our topic was, how you help folks, business owners, families take control of their financial futures or Why do you think there is such a lack of education or maybe knowledge, nowadays where people don't have control of their financial future?
Man, that's a good question. I honestly, I can't prove this in any form or fashion, but what we teach comes all the way back to the Rockefellers, right? You got the story of the Rockefellers and the Vanguard and Vanderbilts, all of them, right?
Hmm.
The Rockefeller waterfall method is basically what we teach, and John D. Rockefeller basically got his CPAs and his accountants together and lawyers and said, "How do I keep my family's wealth intact, not just now, but for generations?" And they came up with tuck all your money into whole life and wrap it into a series of trusts, right? So irrevocable and revocable trusts. Set these up as a framework so that when somebody dies in the family, that money now gets paid out and buys more death benefit in another policy for other members of the
Mm.
family. So they still have access
Right.
to the cash value, but they don't get like a big check to go blow it in Vegas, right? They don't go party it up and
Right.
like, cool, dad left me millions of dollars. Now what? So we do a two-pronged strategy. Is one, we teach this in 4 stages, right? So the first stage is what we've been talking about, a better place to save. When you get up to the fourth
Hmm.
stage, which is infinite banking, that's like full blown, like how do I do this generationally? And how do I train, like my goal is how do I train my kids to handle all this money that they're going to inherit someday? Because inevitably me and
Right.
mom are going to die. We're going to pass you guys on an inheritance. Are you capable to handle it and continue the system? So that's another thing that we specialize in, is not just teaching our clients what to do, but okay, who's your beneficiaries and are they ready to like handle this wealth that they're gonna benefit from?
Okay. Are you offering do you have like education processes for even for like the younger, let's say the kids in the family or anything like that? Do you guys do that?
We do actually. We
That's
actually had
cool.
one yesterday, but we have a monthly webinar that's free that we send out to all of our prospects and clients and say, hey, share it out. So we do that once a month. We have live events if you're in the Phoenix, Arizona area. If you're looking for a live event, chances are we have agents all across the nation. We can probably get somebody there. If you can get 25, 30 people together, we could come
Hmm.
out to you and teach. So what we teach is it's called tough money, and it's basically a roadmap to get people. If you think of a foundation, right? We want financial education, like you said. Where do we get it? Why is it not readily available? Why is this stuff not taught? So we want to financially educate our clients and prospects first, and then we want them to be financially aware, right? So if they get the financial education and they get in tune with their personal finances, we have a whole curriculum that we walk them through step by step. And we can even do this email. I walk these, clients through this in like a 7-week email, campaign. It's like 15, 20 minutes a week, but they fill out a book called
Right.
Tough Money. And then the third thing would be, okay, now where do you save that money? Like that's our foundation, is education, awareness, and then where's a better place to save? So that's where we start everybody out. And there's no cost
Okay.
to that. Like we give all of our education material away for free just to help people.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what advice or what tools or resources you think you would, put out there for folks that need to start learning or want to start educating themselves about this?
Yeah, that's it right there. Is we recommend we have a series of books that we like to take people through, like Nelson Nash's Becoming Your Own Banker. That's kind of the gateway drug to this whole system that changed a lot of our, like a paradigm shift in our mindset to think like a banker. Because when you look at, like, say Robert Kiyosaki, we talked about him earlier. He's got the 4 quadrants, right? He's got like the employee, the business owner, the investor, and then the self-employed. All 4 of those quadrants have one thing in common, and that's that they all require banking, right? So if we can teach people to become your own banker, and it is a journey, right? It's not you became your own banker. It's like a lifelong journey. But if we can teach people the mindset of, hey, how do I capture just the family financing back in my own life, or like a business owner, how do I recapture this financing that I'm paying to Chase, Wells Fargo, all these major banks? What if I could make my own system where I recapture all that? Because you and me, we'll buy like 13 cars over our lifetime. And I have 6 kids, right? So there's me, my wife, and 6 kids. So there's 8 of us. 8 times 13, that's a lot of math, but that's a lot of vehicles flowing through our family. And
104.
over the lifetime, yeah, there you go. You're good at math. So you have roughly $400,000 to $500,000 per individual in just vehicle financing alone over the life of their, right? So if you can take that, and I can show you a way to say, hey, those $400,000 in vehicle expenses can now turn into like $1.5 million profit. How powerful is that, right? So you can flip the whole paradigm on its head and say, hey, you can control the banking function in your own family and change generations, right? And there's a pretty easy system to plug in that's been there for a long time.
Well, great information. Thank you for sharing all of that. I mean, it's incredible, and I think there needs to be a lot more education. If folks are on here listening and they want to call you and they want to talk, they want to find out how you can help them, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, best way is probably just go to my website. It's gogiversolutions.com, and that's solutions with an S, so gogiversolutions.com. You'll land on our landing page, and it'll ask you for like your name, phone number, email, and then how you heard about us. And then it'll give you our foundations videos for free. So you can go through and kind of see, is this a right fit for me? Like, what is this all about? What are it gets a little more in depth than what we've gotten into. And it just helps people kind of get the framework of like what we teach and who we are.
Cool. Okay. And then we'll, like I said, we'll put all that stuff down in the show notes. Josh, thank you again for coming on here. I mean, great information, guys. I hope you took some really good notes. If you have any interest in learning more about this, please reach out to Josh. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I really did. And Josh, thank you again. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.